It's the matchup we've all been waiting for, a face-off between legends, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. If you watched the Saints slaying in New England on Sunday, then you know the Patriots looked, well, like a dumpster fire. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that for now. Now, Brady and the Bucs are also coming off a Week 3 loss to the Rams. But as we know here in New England, there is nothing that fuels Tom Brady's fire more than a loss, especially going into a week that's this personal. The Bucs looked a little flat this past week. I say that only because they're the reigning Super Bowl champs and have a roster stacked with top-tier talent. But still, despite the L in his record, Brady's stats suggest otherwise. He went 41 of 55 for 432 yards and a touchdown against LA, his highest single game total as a Buc. That puts him only 68 yards away from breaking the NFL's all-time passing yardage record. And considering he averages 301 passing yards per game in Tampa, there's almost a 100% chance he makes history in Foxborough once again. And speaking of passing yards, the Bucs defense allowed quarterback Matt Stafford to go 27 of 38 for 343 yards and 4 touchdowns, and also allowed wide receiver Deshaun Jackson to expose their secondary with 3 receptions for 120 yards and a touchdown. If the Bucs' troubles generating much of a pass rush continues, it would create some much-needed relief for Mac Jones, who spent most of his time on the ground in Week 3. Now, their rush D only allowed former Patriot running back Sony Michel to go 67 yards on 20 carries, so I'd say they're definitely more productive at stopping the run at this point. And as for Tampa's offensive weapons to watch, top target Mike Evans had 8 receptions for 106 yards last week, but one of Belichick's specialties is taking away a team's #1 weapon, so I'm not sure how productive Evans will be in Week 4. And the same goes for Rob Gronkowski. Belichick knows him too well, so the scheme against the former Patriot star will most likely lead to few difference-making opportunities. Plus, he got hurt last game, so he may not be at full capacity. His x-rays on his ribs did come back negative for fractures, so it looks like he'll suit up, just don't know how productive he'll be. But Antonio Brown will most likely be off COVID protocol, so he'll be refreshed and ready for some revenge against the team that let him go. To be honest, he's the deep threat that they were missing against the Rams, given what he showed in his Week 1 performance. It's also important to note that Belichick will be working tirelessly to stop Brady in the air, so we may see a lot more of Bucs running back Leonard Fournette. His fellow backmate Giovanni Bernard got banged up last week, so that's another plus for Fournette's productivity. And speaking of injuries, the Bucs are also down a wide receiver to turf toe, with Scotty Miller likely heading to IR. Now, even before the Patriots' out-of-body performance Week 3, they were never the favorites heading into Week 4. But who knows? Crazier things have happened. Until game time, reporting in Foxborough, Alexi Alfredo, the Boston Herald.